Hey guys, Kurt here with another video. Gonna do a quick one before I head out to the Montreal Blossom event later this evening. Won't be able to stay long. I do have a 2-year-old after all. In this video, I'm going to talk about covered calls and how I think new beginners should look at them. I see a lot of new investors asking about them, but then the responses, the discussion generally devolves into a heated debate of whether they are scams or not. And I feel like the beginner is left not really understanding why people think a certain way. So I do want to preface this right off the bat that I know friends of mine who are using covered calls as part of their overall strategy. Now, let's first define what a covered call is, and I'm using Investopedia again. I think it's one of the best pages with nice, easy to understand definitions and pictures. So definitely check that website out. But here they say a covered call is an options trading strategy in which the trader sells a call option while also owning the underlying security. Let's do a concrete example to understand this whole thing better. So first things first, we got to understand that a standard covered call option requires first owning 100 shares of the underlying stock. After you own 100 shares of the underlying stock, let's say, for example, it's Tesla that's currently at $228.67 USD, you choose a strike price and a date of expiration. For example, you can say that you don't think by September 20th, which is roughly in 3 months, that Tesla is going to hit a price of $250. And here on Yahoo Finance, you can see the bid and ask for the premium for that type of contract. So at the $250 strike price for September 20th, it's around $15 to $16. Now that's the premium per share. So if you multiply that by 100, that's around $1,500 USD to $1,600 USD that you get as a premium for someone that wants to buy that contract. Going back to this chart, you get a premium when someone buys your covered called option. So in exchange for that premium, you might be giving up on potential upside. In our concrete example here with Tesla, let's say by September 20th, it goes up to $270. The buyer can buy the 100 shares at the strike price. So they're buying it at $250 instead of $270. So that's why you see these charts where you're giving up on upside past that strike price because you're selling it at that line. So here I've just listed 3 primary reasons that I think someone might want to jump into covered calls. Number 1, income generation. Investors sell covered calls to generate additional income from premiums, typically expecting the stock to remain stable or rise slightly. It gives a chance for active investors who think that they can analyze a stock and see that it's probably going to stagnate for the next little while, then they can collect that premium while still be exposed to that stock. So you sort of get the best of both worlds. Number 2, target price exit. Investors use covered calls to set a specific exit price for their stock holdings, selling at the strike price and benefiting from the premium. So again, this is for active investors who invest in a way where they're okay. They have this like specific price that they want to exit out of a company, and this is another way to do that. And lastly, number 3, downside protection. The premium received offers limited downside protection, providing some cushion against a decline in the stock price. So it gives you a little bit of protection because if you just hold the underlying stock, it just goes down. Here, you're at least getting a premium while it's going down. Now that we have a better idea of covered calls, let's look at covered call ETFs and how a company like BMO handles them. If I just scroll past their list of funds here, we get to this part, how do covered calls work? A call option is a contract which allows the owner the right to purchase the underlying stock at a predetermined price, the strike price over a specific time period. That checks out what we've learned. And scrolling down to BMO covered call ETFs. BMO covered call ETFs strike a balance between generating income and participating in rising markets by writing out of the money call options on approximately half of the portfolio. So when you're investing in a covered call ETFs, you're not only just getting the dividend yield that naturally comes from holding the underlying stocks, but also they're constantly writing covered call options to generate that, to get that premium and then to give it back to you as part of the overall yield of the ETF. Now, there are 2 main reasons why regular index funds are recommended over a covered call version. Usually covered calls, because the management has to do more work in writing these call options, they come with a higher MER. Here we have 0.72, and we're used to around the 0.20 or less range for regular index ETFs. And the second reason is that covered call ETFs do the best when the market tends to go sideways. It will do better than the index versions, the regular versions, because it's collecting that premium at the same time. However, if you are investing in something diversified, we know that the market tends to trend upwards. So given a long time horizon, the regular ETF is more likely to outperform a covered call version. Over here, we're going to quickly check HYLD, the Hamilton Enhanced US Covered Call ETF, because it's the most popular covered call ETF on Blossom, and with good reason, because it's similar to the S&P 500. In fact, the fact sheet here says the portfolio is primarily US covered call ETFs with similar sector mix to the S&P 500. And to the right, we can see a graph where HYLD lags the S&P 500 a bit, and that makes sense. Like we said, the S&P 500, a regular index fund, should do better when the market has been doing good. And since 2022, it's been trending upwards. But like we said, if you have a shorter time frame or you have a more active style and you want exposure to the S&P, but you're not sure if it's going to go up in the next few years and you still want to collect a premium, then this is an option that people are putting as part of their portfolio. Now, just a quick lesson to those that are freaking out over these ETFs on Blossom, saying like, why is this yield so high? Why is it so crazy high? How's that possible? Like, even with the yield being crazy high, we could see that the S&P 500 has outperformed HYLD, which puts out something like 13% yield. And we got to recognize that it's only part of the total return formula. There's capital appreciation, dividend yield, interest yield, other income yield. And so even though you have predictable numbers for components of the total return, you still need to know the capital appreciation, which is for a great number of ETFs just completely unpredictable. Now, I've done this example before in another video, but I'm going to do it quickly again. VDY, a high dividend yield Canadian ETF that a lot of people like, a lot of people think is very stable because it's historically done really well. And you can see the income return component varies from roughly 3 to 5%. But as I mentioned with the formula, the capital return, markets can be very unpredictable and swing really wildly depending on how it's doing and global events, market sentiment, all these different factors. So it can easily have 31% to negative 4%. So it's important to keep in mind when you see something like crazy yield to think about the total return formula when you're analyzing these ETFs. I'll end with this last point. A lot of Blossom investors that are into covered call ETFs that I've personally had a chance to chat with are into them because of downside protection. They'll say something like the premiums allow them to sleep easier at night. But I do want them to know that there are different dimensions of risk. Even though you're in a covered call ETF, if it's tied to a specific stock, it is still very risky because it is still dependent on the performance of that single stock. And that's why I say something like this portfolio we see right here with a bunch of yield max ETFs. It's a reach to say that it's safer than a more broadly diversified strategy that has less yield. In fact, the person on Blossom calls his portfolio, this one you see right here, yield max and pray. I'll call it how I see it. I think a lot of new investors just fall in love with this concept because it's easy to understand and it does seem fun, where you have this sort of engine creating this yield, which you can use however you want, put them into growth stocks if you want it. And the idea is that you just keep generating that yield. But it doesn't really work that way necessarily. In a lot of cases, the engine itself here is tied to a single stock or concentrated holding. So the engine is not actually that safe. And so really make sure you take the time to analyze the pros and cons of different approaches and choose the right one for you. And that's all for today. I'll see you in the next one.